And good morning. How are you guys doing today? I woke up to sort of the chainsaws outside the lawn care guys doing some work on my property. I woke this morning to a little notification on YouTube about a video going live from this show called Craft Show, and it's a little production house, I think down in Alabama, maybe. I should probably know this. It's one of the channels I follow. Itchy nose. Normally I don't watch a lot of live stuff, especially when I first wake up in the morning. But for some reason, I want to watch this out, and it was basically the announcement for the new firmware for the GH5. They had been working on a project last couple weeks, and they're not like daily vloggers kind of thing, but what they do is their actual film house, and they do a lot of behind the scenes stuff and equipment reviews and like kind of tutorial stuff. Good channel actually. They're really really helpful. I don't necessarily think everything they do is the best, and I would probably make some different stylistic choices in some things, but they're very passionate about what they do, and they kind of remind me a little bit of Jason Lanier in the sense that, like, hey, this is what works for us. We're just giving you information, see what works for you, kind of thing, which I really appreciate. I appreciate that kind of vibe. They had been working on this kind of film project, and last like month or so, and they would show you little clips of like, oh, here we're shooting this today, and you had no idea what it's for. They were filming for Panasonic, basically. Panasonic had given them an early firmware update for this camera, and allowed them to go through and do this project. I think that they were hired to do like a little short. They turned it like a 10-minute movie. Really cool stuff. But anyways, the firmware is out, or not out. It'll be out end of September, which is I'll get back to that in a minute. But really cool. Super high bit depth. It's the 400 megabits thing. There's a bunch of other really cool features. Basically, this camera will do, I guess, like HDR video now, which is pretty impressive. You basically, unless you have the right TV, you can't really see a lot of that, but it's really quite cool to have that extra range in there to be able to output it off the files. One of the things they mentioned was that it's really hard to edit, and currently, I think Premiere wouldn't even work the files, so they're going to do another video showing the workarounds they had to come up with to make this thing work. I'm already thinking to myself at some point I'm going to upgrade my computer this year. I've been contemplating building a PC. I've been a Mac guy for about 10 years now, and I love Macs. I love what they can do. I love the ease of use of them. Just like the design, everything, like just how it all works. But the lack of horsepower is pretty annoying for the amount of money you pay. And I've been kind of thinking about the back of my head about building maybe like an editing desktop. Because once you're using Adobe software, I don't care if it's PC. It's like once you get past the start button, it's like big deal. I'm in Premiere. It's fine. And seeing what they're talking about with this footage and what you can do with it, I'm kind of thinking maybe that might be a way forward at some point. I know for the most part I'm not going to need to shoot this amazing that level of stuff, because I'm not that guy yet, by any means, as you guys know from watching my stuff, and no one's paying me to do this stuff, so like I don't need to have that client level stuff yet, but I kind of want to have the ability to do it. And with that, I'm also I'm a gear whore. I like the newest toys, as you guys know. Not just for to the sake of owning something, but like I actually caught a little video this morning from Jared Poland, and he's gonna do a little bit of gear rant, and talk about like it's not the gear, it's you kind of thing. And I totally agree with that. Like your talent as an artist is independent of what you're using to make your art. That being said, this is the kind of line that I've been using for years. Like, you can pound a nail with a rock or with a hammer. It's a lot easier to pound it with a hammer. Both do the job, but one's easier. That's why I That's why I bought this piece of gear. It's why I went to Sony when I did. It's why I went to Pentax. It's why I went, like, when I left Canon and went, I'm so tired of running to this wall all the time. With the 6D or studio shoots in fast shoots, like I was always running the wall with the files, going, wow, shadow detail's gone. Because if I'm working with crazy clothes that are black, which I was a lot with Ritual, like, you still need to have all that detail low end. And when I went to Pentax, like, oh, hey, here's my medium format camera, and it's gorgeous, and I have all the detail back. It's like that wall was gone. It was, pick up a hammer as opposed to a rock. And that's why I get something like this, because it allows me to not be hampered by the gear. Working with this thing, right now, I'm a little hampered just because I'm still learning this particular camera. I'm also just learning in video in general. It's my hand going numb a little bit. So I'm always going to be up against, that wall a little bit, just of my current knowledge, but I like the fact that, like, if I'm working with a quality piece of equipment, that when I learn something, I can do it. I'm not going, oh, that's not capable of it. Like, this camera won't capture that, won't be able to pull this thing off. And this thing's a capable beast to begin with, let alone you throw the firmware update, and then you're like, wow, there's some pretty cool features coming in. You guys can check it out. If you're interested in this camera, you can easily check it online for the specs. I'm not going to read this stuff off because I'm not that guy. But it's a really, really cool thing. I'm looking forward to trying it out. Back to the end of September thing. So I'm all excited to see, the firmware's coming, awesome. This will be great. Just give me the option of trying some things out in South America. No, because it'll be out when I get back from South America. Which actually isn't too bad a deal, because I think the footage I'll get will still be, it still looks totally fine of this thing. Also, you have to have the highest speed current cards to use the new features, so I would have to go buy some expensive ass SD cards and a lot more hard drive space, which will be in the future at some point, because I'm going to need to have those to pull off what I want to pull off this thing, and give me the options of getting just higher bit depth video and quality footage, and be able to do more fun things with this thing. I'm going to definitely have to upgrade my hard drive storage situation, but I won't be able to do that for South America, so oh well. Yeah, so I think that's kind of, I just want to kind of share that with you guys, that, like, hey, the stuff's coming out, like the new firmware update for the GH5 looks so badass. And I gotta say, I also really appreciate that some of these camera manufacturers are really, like, kind of throwing everything at their products. I think up until the A9, Sony was doing that. Like, every camera they came out with, they would jam everything they could, every feature with the firmware. Sony, for me, kind of missed the boat a little bit with the lack of not putting the picture styles in the A9, because the A9 is a beast of a camera, and I think that thing would be amazing. I mean, I think it is an amazing video camera. A stills camera, it's unbelievable. The whole 20 frames a second, silent shutter. The fact that you can do sports and nobody knows. I think for a street camera, that thing is fantastic. If you're doing wedding photography, like in a church, holy crap! Like, there's no rapid fire clicks going off. It's so great. Seeing the footage and shots of seeing other people taking, like Jason Lanier, and Jared Pollan, actually, like they're sorry, I'm gonna drop this down for a second. It's a little heavy. Their stuff is really good. It really shows off what the camera's capable of, and that's a pretty awesome thing. But I think because they didn't want to they pulled a Canon, because they didn't want to cannibalize the FS5. We're gonna keep this a little bit of footage out, one little function, which is the picture style. So you can't shoot log, you can't go in S-Log. I mean, right now I'm not shooting log function because I don't have the Vlog card thing for this camera yet. It should be here tomorrow. But And I probably won't shoot a lot of log with this thing, because I'm actually pretty happy with the way the footage looks right now. And log is a lot. It's I'm realizing with with Sony, it's a lot more work, and it's a lot harder to get the colors right. And I'm just not quite there yet as a technical person to get that. And my workflow is not there yet. That's probably the biggest thing. But for Sony to like not include that, I always thought it just felt too much like a Canon thing. Because Canon, for years, they would give you almost good stuff. I'm like, oh, we're gonna hold this feature back. Like you have to pay an extra $2,000 if you want this one little feature. They pulled this with the 60. You can pull with the 5D against the 1DX. Like Nikon includes like the autofocus. Like their low end cameras have bitchin' autofocus systems. Why wouldn't you throw like? Why do you have to take your entry level full frame and give an autofocus system that's 10 years old? Why? It's like people are gonna buy a 5D over a 60 because they want a more robust body and some more features, and they want the dual card slots. It's not the autofocus system. They want something that's a little burlier. You're gonna buy a 1DX over a 5D because you want to be able to walk outside and get wet and and shoot in these extreme conditions and never have to worry about your gear. That's why you're spending $6,000 on a camera. It's not because a little small, an autofocus glitch. I mean, you're looking for something that's burly as all hell. That being said, I think the new 5D autofocus is supposed to be pretty good as far as I know. But there's that kind of culture thing of like, well, if you really want to have this one little feature, we're gonna make you buy a much more expensive gear that you don't necessarily need to have. Like when I saw the A9 came out, like really, if they'd included that video functions, if they'd put the video functions of the A7 series, A7R, A7S, into the A9 as is, that for me that would have been the ultimate camera. Like it is fantastic. The silent shutter is that's just God to me. It's such a well thought out system. I love it, but they didn't include that, which brings me a long way around back to Panasonic here. They threw everything in this camera. This is like this is the kitchen sink, and then with their firmware to go, we're going to give you every possible thing we can with this camera. What a great idea! Like, I mean, they're not going, oh, you want to, that's going to cost you $2,000 more to get like this little bit more, better a system. Like, no, we're going to give you everything we possibly can that'll fit. It'll work on this, this hardware. I love that idea. I love that they're doing this. I hope that Sony pulls their heads out of their butts a little bit, because up until the A9, that's what they were doing. Everything was, how much can we possibly get out of these systems? And I don't want to rag on Sony. I love Sony. I love that, that camera is like, that's my baby. Like like if I could only have one camera for the rest of my life, it would be the A7R II. That thing is fantastic. I love the footage, the stills off it. Hell, the footage looks great. The lenses on it are so awesome. I love my G Master lenses. And that's my go-to for just about anything. But I wish they would, just not like hamper things on future updates. Anyways, I've been ranting on for about a good 10 12 minutes here. I get cracking on my day, get some stuff done. I shall catch you guys later. Yeah, if you guys have any thoughts or something you like on anything, please comment down below. Any questions, feel free to ask. I don't have a lot of people who chime in a lot, but I am interested in the community aspect of this. So if you have, please chime in if you have any ideas or questions, comments, whatever. Anyways, catch you guys in a bit.
All right, so this is my swamp cooler up the roof. Let me clean it out. And right now I'm filling back with water here. Just kicked back on. So the problem I run into is, I'm gonna make a mess. Alright, try that. The problem I run into here is this little small valve on the side. You can see that. Can't keep up with the heat. So basically I'm coming up the roof about twice a day to refill the base, and it evaporates too fast, can't keep up, and I'll be sitting on my couch and notice the house get about 10 degrees warmer pretty quick, because at this point just pumping hot air in. So yeah, hope that felt pretty quick, and then get back inside where it's hopefully be a little bit cooler. Also, you guys probably can't see this, but there is a gentleman over there who's cutting down some branches off that tree. Should be about center frame, I believe. That's where we at. So neighbors across the street do this about once a year, and sad to say, it kind of fucks with my view because something I can see the little highway back there, and normally speaking, I can't see the highway. Nice thing is today though, they didn't start early, so there's no chainsaws going on at 7 o'clock in the morning. I haven't happened before. The lawn guys were here this morning. They got here pretty early. Wasn't expecting them either. I actually asked my landlords what days are gonna be here, so I have to deal with that stuff, or at least you know, be aware. Hey, I should be dressed, as opposed to sitting on my couch, my boxers, going, hey, there's somebody on my deck. But man, what a gorgeous day. Really, if you're scared of the heat, this is pretty damn ideal. Hey guys, I just want to give you a quick overview of my current kit. This is not everything. This is not all the adapted lenses I have, not the old film cameras I have, but this is everything I can use currently, that I do use currently, and as a part of my main camera rigs. Do a little quick tour from left to right. We obviously have upper left hand corner, we have the Mavic Pro. Right below that we have the Samyang 14mm 2.8 for my Sony, and we have the 55 1.8. Love that lens. It's the first good lens I bought for the Sony rig. Actually, first lens period I bought for the Sony. Love that thing. We also have the Lens Baby Twist 60 for my Sony, and we have the FE 2.0 28mm. Great little lens, and of course my little GoPro Hero 5, which is basically my time-lapse drive around camera. Next to the Mavic, we have my DFA 35mm 645 lens for my Pentax 645, which is the big body in the dead center there. Below that, we have the 55 2.8 for that particular camera, and the 75 2.8. The 75 2.8 was the first lens I bought for that particular camera. Also fantastic. And then obviously right below that, we have the iPhone 7 Plus. And next to that is also my brand new GH5. Moving on, next to the Pentax, we have one of the little small lenses here, but a lot of fun, is the Olympics Micro Four Thirds 12mm f2.0. That's kind of my main little vlog lens when I'm using my my Lumix camera, my GH5. We also have the Sony FE 85mm 1.4 G Master. Awesome lens. I also have the Laowa 15mm f4 macro. Don't use that one very often as it's a bit soft on a 42 megapixel body, but would probably be great on an A7S II. Next to those, I have the other little Lumix, which is my 25mm 1.7 Panasonic lens. Awesome, awesome lens. And then I have my two big lenses for the Pentax. I have the 120mm f4 and the 80 to 160 f4.5 through f4.5 lens. We also have the Sony A7R2, my main baby there. And then down below, we've got a couple other oddball Pentax lenses. I have a old manual focus 45mm and a manual focus 105. Don't use those very often, but they are good lenses to have. So there you have it. That's my complete normal kit, not including adapted lenses, also no batteries and accessories, and obviously the hoods are on the lenses. But this is my main pile of goodness there. All right, so there you have it. That's my my kit. As I said, that's not everything I have. That's literally just the most commonly usable things. I have a bunch of old modified or adapted lenses for my Sony, because pretty much everything will work on that camera. So I've got adapters for those, even including adapters to mount my 645 lens on the Sony. All that's pretty goofy though. With that, I also didn't include the accessories. There's no, the giant pile of batteries isn't there. My audio rigs aren't there. It's just the actual capturing sources things, or capturing images or video, is there. Some of you might be wondering how the heck I did that, considering I had all my cameras on the table.
Well, the thing is, I have two iPhones. The reasoning for that is that, well, one of them is broken. As some of my longtime watchers may remember, I had one phone that kept breaking the screen on, and after the second repair, it was just not working right. I had the screen replaced twice on it, and it just kept, it would lock up, freeze up, and I just got really sick about a month and a half ago, and I went and bought a new phone. I just couldn't take it anymore. Eventually, this one, which is the broken one, I need to take it down to Apple and have it shipped back to Apple to get fixed. When I went to the store, the guy was telling me that it's probably a logic board issue, not a screen issue. Because what would happen is you'd be using it, the screen would lock up, you turn the screen off, turn it back on, and work fine again. But I'm gonna get that one fixed, and then I have actually have plans for that phone to go somewhere special. But that's why I got to have the phone in the shot and be able to record the video. So there you go. I'm going to probably put this together and call this a day here, even though the day is still early. I got some other stuff to do that's probably be less interesting on the filming front. Plus, this already be a pretty long video to begin with, because how much I ran it earlier about firmware updates and camera manufacturers not giving them, giving you their all. So anyways, I shall catch you guys tomorrow. Hope you're having an awesome day, awesome week, all that fun stuff, and see you tomorrow.